You're listening to What's Your Damage? Long Shots, where the cast of the world's best 5th edition narrative-heavy actual play podcast based on Filipino mythology and our friends play games other than D&D. The game for this long shot is Brindlewood Bay by Jason Cordova. And now, on to the show.
Just got to give them a little bop sometimes.
Yeah.
Right there in their nose.
So the first one to greet you is David, who goes up to your knees.
Hideous.
Doris is glancing around and sort of smoothing down her cardigan, going, "Oh, don't I just feel like the mud at the dog show?"
I waggle my eyebrows at him as he walks away.
Do you have like a Groucho Marx cigar? Well, thankfully no one's going to die today.
Oh, it's statistically very untrue, but probably not here.
Hello and welcome to a special presentation from What's Your Damage? I'm Elliot, also the Game Master, I think is what it's called in this game. Wait, let's take that with more force. Also the Game Master, as it's probably called in this game.
Confidence.
Yeah, fake it till you make it, baby.
Probably in there.
Yeah, you always got to undercut confidence. That's how I've found. If my general lifestyle has shown me anything, it is undercut confidence at every turn. You know what I am confident about? That Brindlewood Bay is the game that we're going to be playing today. It was written by Jason Cordova with additional contributions by Calvin Johns, Petra Volkhausen, and Steffi Devon. The art for this book is done by Cecilia Ferry. Brindlewood Bay is a very interesting Powered by the Apocalypse game having to do with murder mysteries, and you, as the players, get to play a bunch of little old ladies who love the books of Anna Delacourt. The name of the said book is...
I believe it's the Gold Crown Mysteries.
Yes, it is.
Yes, The Gold Crown Mysteries by Anna Delacourt. That is what unites our Mavens, and our Mavens are ladies in their 70s, 80s, maybe 90s, who embody certain aspects of very famous detectives. You can either play as TV detectives from the 70s and 80s. Big shout out to my boy Columbo and Peter Falk. He and I used to hang back in the day. Or what we're going to be playing with is the alternate Mavens, which includes more classical archetypes like Clarice Starling and Auguste Dupin, and most famously and most classically, Phoenix Wright from the Ace Attorney series. Big shout out to my boy Phoenix Wright. He and I used to hang back in the day. But with all of that preamble concluded, let's meet our Maven. So whomever the spirit moves to go first, go.
All right, the spirit is moving me. Hello, I'm Sadie Blake. I will be playing the character of Doris O'Malphey, a woman in her early 80s who has a large family that she it keeps in touch with, but they all live out of state. All the kids moved out of state when they grew up and started having their own kids. So, you know, she's on her own in her little cottage in Pennsylvaniatown. She likes to cook and especially likes to give away that cooking. That is her cozy move in game mechanic terms. And so she'll often, cook for the neighbors, send cookies to the kids around the holidays, things like that. I have also taken the Sherlock Holmes Maven move, which means that the first time I encounter a suspect, I can declare something about them based solely on their appearance. This information is absolutely true, but it is not a clue, nor can it conclusively solve the mystery. Oh, one quick thing I wanted to add about my character, because I was thinking, Kate, about the conversation we had about playing against type, hence the 7 kids, and also Doris does not swear ever, which is going to be an acting challenge for me. The strongest thing you'll ever hear her say is, "Oh, for Pete's sake."
Oh, you're entering my sphere now.
Oh, yeah. She'll say good grief. She'll say, "Oh, snickerdoodles." She'll say, "For Pete's sake." But you won't ever hear an actual curse word come out of her mouth. I hope.
Amazing.
All right, I can go.
Do it.
This is Leah Ashley. I am playing Rosemary Star. She's in her late 70s. She clearly had a life partner at some point, but nobody really knows the details. She doesn't like to talk about it. However, her home is filled with knickknacks and things from the relationship that she clearly adores, occasionally throws, to the nearest small child in the neighborhood. She does not have any children, so she has really built community in her space. And she doesn't have any pets, but she feeds the local wildlife and calls them all her birds and her foxes and that kind of thing. Bird watching is her cozy activity. She's kind of hippy dippy. She clearly gives off a liberal vibe. She currently volunteers on a local historic farm used to educate children. It's clear that she used to work in a corporate environment, but that has prompted her to get to this phase of her life where she is definitely not corporate anymore. Oh, and she took the Jane Marple Maven move, which means that she can enter any place I wish during the day and do whatever I want as long as I'm not hostile towards people. And because I'm a little old lady, people just trust me.
That's adorable.
I guess, do you want me to go next, Ray?
Sure, if you want to.
Okay. So I'm Kate Ingram. I will be playing Minette. I can say my name. Minette LeBeau, which is a transplant from France. Her Maven move is based on Hercule Poirot. So this is just free reign for me to do a really shitty French accent.
Yes.
She's in her late 70s. Possibly. She may even be in her 80s, but she looks really good for her age. And you will never know her real age. She's very prim, very proper, always dressed to the nines, short, gray hair, perfectly coiffed. Her cozy activity is antiquing. So she has lots of antiques, and her house looks a bit like Howl's room in Howl's Moving Castle. And generally, she's just here for a good time.
And also here for a long time, apparently.
A long time, yes, she is. It's true.
But how long? A lady never tells.
Exactly. Listen, she follows the French diet of, a glass of red wine and bread and cheese, and it has done her well these years.
If she's not a recent transplant from France, that explains her kind of quirky accent. She might just be holding on to it despite the fact that it's trying to leave her if she's been in Pennsylvaniatown.
Good in-game justification.
I need no justifications, but yes, This is a beautiful justification. I appreciate that because I wasn't even going to go that far. I'm just like, I'm doing what I want.
Mm-hmm. Did you tell us about your Maven move?
Oh, I get Hercule Poirot, which means I don't really get anything except for a +1 to reason because I'm good at detecting shit.
I suspect the rest of us may regret picking more flavor moves when the time comes.
Please don't. Literally 100%. I didn't know what to do. And then I saw Hercule Poirot and I was like, French accent, sold.
Don't care what it does.
Also, I just kind of like the idea of being a little bit fussy.
You never. Talk about playing against type. Said with all the love.
Sensible chuckle.
Okay, I guess I have to go.
Lay it on us, Ray.
Do it.
Hi, I'm Ray Palmer, and I will be playing Adelaide Woods. Adelaide is a very well-known pillar of the community. In her mid to late 80s, nobody's really sure anymore. What they do know is that she has spent decades now being a staple at basically every community event. She bakes anytime that there's a funeral, anytime that there's a potluck or bake sale, shows up to work at the local, oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Soup kitchen?
Soup kitchen. Thank you. I was like, soup shelter. No.
It's a shelter for soup. Keep it safe.
Which has been a little odd, perhaps, since nobody ever saw her husband. He was very much not a people person. But after his recent death, she sold off the most of the land that was attached to their farm and used it to renovate her farmhouse on the edge of town, where she now has basically kept only like a barn with her pigs and her chickens and a small tea garden out back.
I feel like she's the one who would be hosting the book club.
Probably, yes.
She's like one of those people that somehow magically has like 28 hours in their day where the rest of us get 24.
Yes, you wonder if she sleeps. And somehow she does all of this while being like the most tottering, doddering old woman that you've ever seen. She gets around, but it is like you look at her and she's just kind of like scooting along, and it's somehow at a fast pace.
I feel like you get the sense that she is just squeezing as much out of life as possible because she knows she's on her way out.
Oh, absolutely. Looks wise, like she's a little bit, I'd say turtle shaped, like very thin head, like thicker body, wears cardigans, has like almost a helmet of just messy gray curls. That she keeps a respectable grayish blue with huge Coke bottle glasses.
Oh my God, I love her.
And yes, all of her cardigans are hand knitted.
Of course they are. And what's your Maven move?
Codfile. I'm still not pronouncing that correctly, I'm sure. So I have an extra cozy activity, which is herbalism. I can make an herbal tincture or decoction that would be helpful in a situation.
Does this mean you have an herb garden?
I do. I have my tea garden.
Yeah, I'll bet Doris is over there all the time borrowing basil.
Oh, absolutely. She will give you plants.
Okay, with our Mavens introduced, let's talk a little bit about the world that you'll be inhabiting. It is Pennsylvaniatown, Massachusetts. That's a deep, deep cut for anyone who ever listened to Local Look. If you have those episodes, please get in touch with us. We need them. We don't know what happened to our copies. But Pennsylvaniatown is a town on the bay. A little bit of information for you folks who live here. The richest man in town is one Edward Stork, formerly of Stork and Crane Architecture and Design. His partner, Milton Crane, also a rather large to-do in this city. The partnership of Stork and Crane broke up about 2 years ago, and the first big building that Crane was going to get on his own was a contract to build low-income apartments in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. However, one day, 4 months ago, you woke up with the scent of smoke in the air, mixing with the already heavy sea scent as the bones of the building were laying in tinders on the ground. It's an unsolved mystery. There was talk of a podcast going to investigate. However, when they saw Pennsylvaniatown, they turned left at Albuquerque, so to speak. What you got...
You're like, that's not going to get us any pull.
No pull at all, unfortunately. What you guys are going to be attending... In the fall, the Chamber of Commerce throws an annual get-together where the big to-dos of local businesses get together and celebrate their wealth.
I believe they call that networking.
Yes, networking. You have two options here for the reason that you got the invite. I'll present both of them to you, and you tell me which way you want to go on this. One of them is the bookstore that you go to get the Gold Crown Mysteries by Anna Delacourt was invited, and she wanted to bring the four of you along. Or because Adelaide is such an important part of the community, she was offered a invitation. Which one would you guys like to go to? We use
Bookstore.
I mean, I'm kind of with the bookstore too, although I do feel like Adelaide showed up with a casserole.
Oh, of course she did. Of course she did.
Okay. The bookstore and casserole. So
Can we say it was Doris's recipe?
Oh, completely. Yes.
Awesome.
the owner of the bookstore is a friend of yours. What is their name and how long have you guys known each other?
Oh, Sarah, I've known her for like 15 years.
Is Sarah as old as the Mavens, or is she a little bit younger, or what have you?
I think she's a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has to be younger. She's still working.
I feel like she took over for her mother.
I like that.
So it was her mom's bookstore, and now it's hers.
Yeah, so she's like maybe an energetic late 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Energetic late 40s. Rosemary knew her when she was 25 and coming back to town.
Her mom lived down the block, and she was also a birding person.
Okay, so it is Sarah, who is the second generation owner of a bookstore named...
I do like Lighthouse Books. And it's a coastal town in Maine, right? Like, it makes sense.
Massachusetts,
damn it.
So Sarah of Lighthouse Books is waiting for the four of you to show up. As you do, she immediately brightens. She opens the doors, lets you in. There is a display full of rare birds of New England. As she is closing up the till, she goes, "And how are you, ladies?"
Oh, good.
Yeah, doing just fine.
We're from the Midwest, apparently.
We did not coordinate that, but it does make sense. It's probably how we initially bonded. Oh my gosh, you folks are from Minnesota? Yeah, I'm just up the road in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, sure, you betcha.
Well, I am a little worried about the rosemary. I added rosemary. Did I tell you that, Doris?
You added me to what?
To this casserole.
That rosemary.
Just not sure how it turned out.
Oh, I think it'll do just fine. It'll play off the turkey nicely.
Yes, probably right. I should have made those cookies, though. They never have enough cookies at this thing.
That's true. I wish I'd thought of it. I would have brought some cookies. But it's fine. There's always next time.
I mean, they will probably have cookies that cost more than I make a month. So don't feel too bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, honey, it's not about the price. It's about the love. They never put enough love in those.
Well, I mean, gosh, look at who we're dealing with.
Oh, now.
They may not have enough love to go around. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, they're fine people. Just a little.
Corporations are people too, but they don't have much love.
Said the liberal.
They don't have. Well, we don't do it. They don't have much love.
They don't have their heads on straight. That's all it is. Just got to give them a little bop sometimes.
Yeah.
Right there in their nose. Boop.
Sarah, did you say that you have a brand new shiny book about birds?
Well, I am clearly displaying it if you would like it. You don't get sick in car rides, do you?
Just a bit.
You know, I think I have some Tums here in my handbag. Would that help, do you think?
I might have some Dramamine somewhere.
I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll just look at the pictures.
I can read it to you if you start getting sick.
Okay.
Okay.
As the afternoon sun hangs low in the sky, well, might as well get going so we can take as much food as physically possible and stuff it in our bags. Yeah, she says as she puts on a larger bag.
Oh, you.
Don't you worry. I packed all my Tupperware.
Well, I guess somebody's got to take leftovers home.
It's only the right thing to do.
I feel like baggies are much more discreet than Tupperware.
Adelaide does not acknowledge this statement, just toddles toward the car.
Adelaide is not concerned with being discreet, apparently. Nor should she be, quite frankly. She runs this town.
As the Mavens and Sarah are making your way to what is colloquially known as the compound, which is Edward and his wife's house, you start to wind your way up the hill where you can get a good overview of the entire town, which you can see the burnt out construction of the low income housing that was previously mentioned.
Gosh, such a shame. That was going to help so many folks.
As you continue going on to get to Sarah's car, you passed by a vapor bar which sells air to tourists and
I'm sorry, sells air to tourists?
purest oxygen you can find.
Okay.
Yeah, that for high elevation stuff.
Yeah, I thought they only had those in Colorado.
Nope. Apparently, some people can't handle sea level.
Huh.
You arrive at the compound, which is a beautiful building. It is a expansive house which has a view of the bay to the north and the town to the west. It feels as if even the air here is a little bit richer than what you get down there. There is a security guard and security fence that you guys have to clear. You can see that by far, Sarah's car is the oldest and most busted down ride, with cars parked ranging from Lincolns to Rolls Royces to, that's right, Teslas. As you arrive, you can see that although the building has the subtle architecture and elegant spirit of modernism, there is a lot of rather gaudy statues leading to the doorway. These are primarily replications of antiquity. So the first one to greet you is David, who goes up to your knees, who's not wearing a fig leaf.
Wow.
Hideous.
Yes, the French woman finally speaks, criticizing.
It is hideous. No, wait, that sounded way Russian. Never mind.
She's so annoyed she turned Russian.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could give you an inspiration for that.
Hideous. It is hideous.
I think maybe she's from a part of France that, like, nobody knows what the accent is supposed to sound like. Like, it's a part of France we've never heard of, and it's just a regional accent that we're like, sure, okay.
I think maybe she just picks whatever she wants and tells us it's French.
Yeah. She is mysterious.
She's très mysterious.
As you enter, the statue that greets you is I wish I had chosen a different name for this one, or a different statue, but I'm committed now. Laocoon and Sons, which is of the man who seems to be wrestling with a snake because he angered the gods, and the gods sent a snake to kill him and his 2 sons.
Oh, sure, like you do.
This is shin height. As you enter the air.
They're so rich. You think they could have afforded bigger statues.
Well, they're just perfect tripping height now, aren't they?
This is a sad mockery of all art.
Perhaps they put these in for their children.
That's a lot of nude man for children.
You think they call it culture these days?
If you're talking about the same thing my neighbor kids are talking about, I think it's called pornography.
Oh, heavens.
Heavens, indeed.
As part of the backstory, the Mavens have helped the local authorities with a couple of crimes, perhaps not at the behest or with the sanction of the local police. I also should have mentioned this at the top. This mystery is rated a 6.
6 out of what?
No.
It's 6 to 8.
Oh, okay.
But when you say we've been helping the police, you do know we're helping then, even if they didn't exactly invite us.
What is one person's help is another person's meddling. And speaking of a person who thinks that you're meddling, is Officer Beaumont Ruth. He is a rather short man with a tall hat. He is having a couple of Vienna sausages, which is confusing since there doesn't appear to be any Vienna sausages to be found at this rather expensive shindig.
See, we're not the only ones who brought food.
You never go wrong with a well-timed casserole. I keep telling you, Doris.
Oh, and I know it.
I heard my neighbor kids talking about how you can't go wrong with wrongly timed sausage. What's going on with that sausage?
Aren't those the sausages that come out of a can?
Seeing the 4 of you, he immediately rolls his eyes like, ugh, and hangs his head.
Officer Ruth, how the heck are ya? It's nice to see you.
Now, Sonny, I know I didn't see you roll your eyes at me. Remember, I can still put you over my knee.
All right, Adelaide. All right. Although I did think that you ladies would appreciate the fact that I brought some sausages from Minette's hometown. He says holds up a tin of Vienna sausages.
Doris is like, oh, that's so nice. Isn't that nice? And she like elbows Minette.
No. Get it away.
Now, Minette, he's trying to be a good boy now. This is a step forward for you, little Beau. I'm real proud of you, and I know your mama would be too if she was still with us. God rest her.
All right. So thanks for that, Adelaide. Thankfully, ladies, we don't have a crime scene here, so we don't need to be at loggerheads. But I would caution that, how about wherever you fine ladies are, I'm going to be on the opposite side of the room. How does that sound?
That's how we all keep eyes on the room in case it becomes a crime scene. I like the way you think.
He hangs his head. Yeah.
We're just here to help. If help is needed.
Well, thankfully, no one's going to die today.
Oh, it's statistically very untrue, but probably not here, no. Now, I'm just going to go put this casserole down, and Ruthie, you should definitely have some of this. I know you love your turkey.
Adelaide, why would I give a statistic about everybody in the world?
She's already wandering away.
Oh.
You heard it on the news today.
Oh.
She can be awful literal sometimes.
I will say, I can see why this man is like, oh, good, fuck.
I'm sure every single one of them reminds him of his mother in some way that he does not like.
Yes, absolutely true. As with Officer Beaumont Ruth keeping his distance because wink, all five of you are going to be keeping an eye on this place. You do see and witness the hoi polloi of Pennsylvaniatown, Massachusetts here. Imbibing, drinking, I think as Sadie said earlier, networking.
So is this mostly uptown folks, or is it like the whole town's invited?
No, only the uptown folk.
Gotcha. Yeah, Doris is glancing around and sort of smoothing down. She also wears cardigans, smoothing down her cardigan, going, oh, don't I just feel like the mutt at the dog show? I should have worn my nice dress.
Oh, now, sweetie, this looks rather nice on you. Oh, we could just do a little bit with this here.
And she's just like kind of fluffing up like her neckline and stuff, and just been like,
oh, yes. No, I think this color works on you. You should come meet little Johnny. Have I introduced you to little Johnny?
and she's going to take her by the arm and like lead her around the room.
And thus Doris is swept away.
It has to be the accent, but I assume it's like Minette. Is she like a fancy lass, or is she?
Oh, she's a fancy lass. I like to think that like in this she has like a very like sharp bob that's like mostly gray with just a little black left. And like she's wearing like high-waisted black pants with a white button-up tucked in that's kind of like a little bit oversized in like that French way that's like very chic. With like a fancy red belt and red shoes and like big bangles and like a big like statement necklace and red lipstick.
Perfect. I think, Minette, this would be perfect for you as Adelaide and Doris are traipsing around the incredibly large main room. A woman catches your eye. You would know her as Marina Stork. She is at least 3 decades younger than Edward Stork. She is a 5'7" woman in her late 20s. She is absolutely stunning, wearing a dress that you know is from one of the finest fashion houses in your home country. And she is looking around with a little bit of disdain at the entire proceeding. As her eyes wander the room, she catches you and gives a slight smile, since you are obviously not a titan of industry, but you are incredibly well kept. And she probably appreciates that, you would gather. As she comes over to you, she goes, "How are you finding the evening, mademoiselle?"
The statues are terrible. Should get rid of them immediately.
I agree.
This, and she'll gesture to like her outfit. Good.
A woman after my own heart. I agree. This is terrible and Edward's idea. As you can see that she's like miming having a cigarette, which she does not actually have in her hands, but she's holding her hands as if she is. She goes, He's always proclaimed himself to be the greatest architect in Massachusetts. But do you know what his actual style is? Brutalist meets blobitecture. And she leans into you and she goes, his greatest inspiration is Jan Duiker. But if you ask me, which you should, she smiles, it's more like Jan Duiker. Anyway, enough kvetching. I have to pretend that I am enjoying myself. As she puts on a fake smile and goes and mixes with a couple of other folks.
I think Minette is taken immediately with her. She loves her. She's delightful. I need to immediately get her away from her stupid husband because obviously she's too good for him.
Perfect. Where is Rosemary in all this? Is she just...
I'm keeping eyes out, and I'm continuing to make sure I make eye contact with Miss Ruth over there across the room, so he knows that we're on it.
Oh man, he has 4 thorns in his side. If you guys had 2 more, he'd be able to make a crown.
No, the only crowns around here are ours. Thank you.
This is true. Rosemary, as you are keeping an eye out for things, you are around a rather large group of men who are all yada, 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 backslapping, talking about golf, other boring stuff that you run into. However, you do notice a person that seems acutely out of place. This is a man with like a very short haircut, almost buzzed, and you can see that he has a scar from his ear, on his ear, as he seems completely contemptuous of this gathering, but not in the way that Minette has been contemptuous of the art, but something... There's an anger deep underneath, you would gather. As he is watching these men talk, he looks around and he catches your eye and he gives you a sharp frown as he walks away.
I waggle my eyebrows at him as he walks away.
Do you have like a Groucho Marx cigar?
Does he look like military? Tell me more about the overall look of the cut and his scar and all of this. What can I gather about his background?
So in that case, what I am going to have you do is I am going to have you roll a meddling move with reason, if you'd please.
Reason? Oh, dear.
A 5 is a failure. As you are trying to get a deeper sense of this man, he catches you looking at him and he goes, "Hey, I have a policy not to hit old ladies, but I'm not very good at keeping true to my policies." As he gives you a curt nod and walks away.
Oh dear. Yeah, that seems awfully suspicious. So I think I should probably go tell Mr. Ruth about it.
As you come over, he sees you coming over and he goes, No, Rosemary, I got to use the bathroom. You cannot follow me in the bathroom, all right? As he starts to beat feet towards the restroom.
I'll keep up with him. Holler through the door if I need to. Sharing is caring and knowledge is power. I'm trying to give him both.
As she attempts the impossible task, we have Adelaide with Doris. And as you guys were whipping around not whipping, but you guys were just doing a circle around the place.
Yeah.
She was going to introduce me to little Johnny.
Oh yeah. After little Johnny came, like I don't know names. Little PewDiePie.
Everybody's just little.
Yeah, everyone here is little because I doubt anyone here is older than me.
This is fair play. Fair play.
Everyone ages 40 and under is definitely little so-and-so.
Oh, yeah. Like the only, you only get Mr. or Miss or just a first name if you're over like 65.
Anyone she considers a contemporary.
When you two are making the circles, making the rounds, talking to every little under the sun, you find two in conversation, little Milton Crane and little Asha Amela, spelled with an E. Milton Crane is tall to an obnoxious degree, about 6'7". He's always putting weight on one leg or the other, a permanent slouch to go along with his always ruffled suit. When his eyes catch you, they are permanently sunken. He is talking to somebody who seems to be his complete opposite. This Asha Amela is a Indian woman who moved to Pennsylvaniatown. She is wearing incredibly beautiful gold earrings. And the most distinctive feature about her is she has this very, very particular shade of blue lipstick that she always wears. She is a mover and shaker of this town, sort of disrupting the stranglehold, one would say, of the Crane empire. The two of them seem to be discussing something when they go quiet, and Edward goes, "Well, if it isn't Ms. Woods."
A question, did you mean Milton or Edward?
Milton.
Okay.
Oh, little Milton, how are you? I heard all that business about your building recently. Oh, that was so terrible.
It's really
just such a shame.
Yeah, it's really great when people bring it up a lot. It makes me feel better that so many people are so concerned about my own concerns. I appreciate that, both of you.
Oh, of course. Well, we care about you, dear.
Did you get that casserole that I left with your lady the other night?
I mean this with every respect in every word. There's no escaping your casseroles, Adelaide.
She wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm aware.
And she just like kind of looks him up and down, and she's like, "Oh,
is Asha somebody I would have plausibly met before, or is she new?"
She's not. She's new-ish. Like she's been here for the last 9 months, and she's already like revamped a couple of buildings downtown.
Okay, so we may have met in passing, but we're not close.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she is, but even though you may not be close, she gives off the impression that you are very close. She goes, "Oh, Doris, how are you?"
Oh, Asha, I'm doing great. How are you? I love those earrings. Those are just gorgeous.
I appreciate that so much. I had a question about cooking and I can't remember it. However, I am going to have my, what are they called? Assistants. But I don't call them assistants. I call them my better halves, all of them. Yeah, because what would I do without them? I'd lose my head probably.
Well, when you think of it, you just let me know. Send somebody by. I'm happy to write you down instructions or teach you how, whatever you need.
Oh, of course, of course. As Milton gives her a look, she goes, "Oh, and Adelaide, you are a, how do they say it? Pillar of the community." As Milton said, your casseroles and other goodies are simply inescapable. And I am so glad that I get to formally say hello.
Oh, well, aren't you a sweet dear? If you're having trouble with the cooking department, Doris, I mean, we do cooking nights some nights. I'm sure we wouldn't mind if Miss Asha would come over.
Oh, gosh, it'd be a hoot. Yeah, come on by anytime.
I think that would actually be a hoot and a half, she says.
Oh, you.
As she gives you a big warm smile. And she goes, but ladies, I do have to corner Mr. Milton here and talk about a couple of things that are business adjacent, and it's very boring, but can I catch up with you guys later and pick your brains?
Absolutely. And remind me to ask you about that lovely lipstick. I think that would just go so wonderfully with my hair.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That look great on you.
Oh, wow. Yes, it totally would. As Milton.
Milton's like,
What is everybody? Is everybody on crazy pills? As Asha wraps her arm around his and takes him to the back.
And as they're walking away, Doris just kind of comments to Adelaide, like, if he keeps slouching like that, he's going to have back problems later in life.
Well, he already has back problems. That's what we keep telling him. He's too tall. The poor boy. He's had this problem since high school. Honestly, I'm a little worried about him. Did you see that look around his eyes? I don't think he's taking that fire all that well.
No, I don't think he's getting much sleep.
I might have to mix him up some of my specialty, and we'll see if we can't help him out.
Oh, gosh, that would be so sweet. I'm sure he would appreciate that.
As the night continues on, the one and only Edward Stork finally makes his appearance. He is what traditionally in 1920s political cartoons would be known as a fat cat. He has a pair of spats on. He has a comb over. He is a rather large figure, both physically being about 6'4" and powerfully built like a former football player, and also with how loud he speaks. This is definitely his home. You are all just guests, and you note that he always keeps his arm around his much younger wife Marina, as she plasters on a smile and continues on. As the night rolls on, and just so you know, day moves and night moves aren't actually tied to the time of day. So I know that where Rosemary has access, so even if it's nighttime, but if you're in a safe place, that still counts as a daytime activity. And if it becomes dangerous, then it becomes nighttime.
Okay. So it's more about level of risk regarding the situation.
Right. Because it would be really unfair to have a nighttime thing where I completely invalidate Rosemary's power. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
You do notice as the night wears on, it becomes a little bit hotter and hotter and hotter, as if the thermostat has not been turned down to match how uncomfortable it is for people. As there is a big speech with Edward Stork, the lead or the head of the Chamber of Commerce, and certainly the lead of the night's festivities. He stands in front of all of you. To his side is his former partner, Milton Crane. To his left is his wife, Marina. To her left is Asha. And he says, well, thank you one and all for coming. I am sure that you have eaten well, as I have counted every pound of food Pennsylvaniatown's elite eat. We're at, as he looks at something, we're at 20 pounds of entrees that total 200 a dish. So loving that for me. As he takes out a finely embroidered handkerchief, it is white with blue trim around it. Minette, from your vantage point, you can see that this is the highest form of cotton. Whatever the Platonic ideal of cotton is, probably Greek.
You just hear like under her breath of, Just trying too hard. He's trying so hard and failing.
As he is patting his the sweat off of his brow, he goes, "It's been great for the Crane architecture and design. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for my former partner, Milton Crane, and his what's the name? What's the name, Milton? I think it's Bird Shot Company. Is that what you called it?" He kind of laughs at that.
Doris is keeping up a running commentary to Adelaide, just sort of muttering things in her direction every once in a while. And at that, she goes, "Oh, I see. He's a bully."
Oh, yes. We had such problems with him when he was a young thing.
Oh, gosh. Some of them just never grow out of it, you know.
Well, I always thought it was so strange that little Milton went into business with him. You know, he used to steal his lunch money.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bird shit building. Nope, sorry. Bird shot building. He laughs again as he takes a big drink.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
And I also have to give I also have to say a big round of applause for Asha Amela. She's come in and really made a difference in our town. As you can see, some people start to applaud. Too bad I got to the air business before you did, he says with a wink. Funny how we both had the same idea at the exact same time, but I just had the money first, huh? And his eyes soften. To my darling Marina. One of the funniest things I can think of is people think that this building, the compound, was made by her or designed by her because way back in the day, darling, you were an intern who became my wife. But as we can all tell, this is Stork made and Stork designed. And is it hot in here?
Oh, he doesn't look too well.
As the man that you saw earlier, Rosemary, calls out, "Bad things happen to people who don't keep their promises, Edward. The Reaper is coming."
What on earth?
As suddenly a couple of people start to push him aside, security for him. As Officer Ruth goes, "Ugh," as he starts to walk after the man who is being handled by the private security. You see Edward start sweating more profusely, and he takes out his handkerchief again, and he goes, "So I just wanted to." As you see him collapse onto the ground, his head hitting the table, rebounding off, and he falls over. There is a shriek as Marina goes to him, and Asha does too. Milton hesitates for just a moment. However, it is Milton who yells out, "There's no pulse." As Ruth goes, crap, as he runs over there to help the fallen Edward Stork, you see that he is doing chest compressions, and they seem to go on for an eternity. However, you would know it would be closer to 4 to 5 minutes, but 4 to 5 minutes is a lot of time when you're dealing with trying to resuscitate a dead body. However, the attempts were unsuccessful, and Edward Stork, Titan of Industry, is declared dead.
Dun, dun,
Oh, dear.
dun.
Mon Dieu.
Thank you for listening to What's Your Damage? Long Shots, Brindlewood Bay, featuring Ray Palmer as Adelaide Woods, Kate Ingram as Minette LeBeau, Sadie Blake as Doris O'Malphey, and special guest Leah Ashley as Rosemary Star. Elliot Rose was the game master. Audio engineering and music by Elliot Rose. Sound effect attributions can be found on our website at wydpod.com.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. You can find more of What's Your Damage on Apple Music and Spotify or on our website, wydpod.com. We've got maps, just gorgeous character art, and tons of lore for all needs to know. There's also going to be a sign up for our newsletter, which features content warnings for all episodes upon release, because we think that's super important. And for those of you that want to chat with us on social media, because you love us so much, you can find us at WYD Pod, and that's WYDPODD on Instagram and Threads, as well as a bunch of others listed on our website. In case you don't like those first two, you can find us elsewhere, because if there's a place to be, we're probably there already. So, please stop by, say hi. We would all genuinely love to hear from you.